We want you to learn about this next group. So it's called the Hip Hop University, and they're using music to help connect the younger generation to the past and get excited about their future.
Number one, let me give you your credit, dog. Like, I think that you are one of the best rappers to rap, bar for bar, that people don't really give their respect. Like, I give my respect to you, you know, and the hip hop heads give their respect, but a lot of people don't know how much you put into this game and what you did for this game. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit before we get into the good stuff?
Well, yeah, I appreciate it. You know, like, you're going to have where I come from, you're going to have, the guys that really raise their hand, which will be, the Jay-Z's that are really the focal point of everything. So, but sometimes people fly under the radar, some people are able to circle back around and receive the credit that they deserve one day. And, hopefully that's the case with this situation.
Yeah, 100%. So you're responsible for writing one of Puff's greatest hits. You know what I mean? Hands down, point blank, period. And with people they look at Puff in a certain light. And from my personal opinion, man, I think you are the one that gave him that. Like, after everything happened, without that song, he wouldn't be who he is right now. And I hate to put it like that because of the situation that it surrounds, but I mean, truth be told, it is what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll Be Missing You, which is the song I'm sure you're referring to.
Right.
Is, obviously his biggest hit, or probably one of the biggest hits in hip hop history, period.
Right.
And it absolutely validated him, crossed him over, should I say, to be accepted into pop culture.
Right.
He was successful. I don't want to take anything away from him. He was successful, doing this thing with certain things, but that actual record pretty much catapulted his career into another phase, to another level.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So based on what's happening now, what sparked you to come out like you did with this new record, with the Love Tap record?
Well, I don't want people to misinterpret is it's not a money issue, first and foremost. It's not about money. Just to give you a little bit of the history, when I did a Puff deal with Universal, and just specifically for that part of the deal was the work that I did with Puff. And it was for, 6 figures. Mm-hmm. And his business acumen, they wound up, pushing forward with a lawsuit because he was taking so long to distribute the royalties from the No Way Out album. Mm-hmm. So as he was taking his time, Universal proceeded with a lawsuit, and being as though I was really the only one receiving any kind of credit for that record, because Sting, which he sampled Sting,
right?
Sting took pretty much all of the publishing, but I had original lyrics, so I was able to work out a deal to receive some money, and but because of his lateness with distributing the publishing, because he was sample heavy on the album,
right?
So people that's not familiar with sampling, that takes time to clear, and you you haggle back and forth with splits, so forth and so on. Well, anyway, it took a long time, and it started eating into my portion of the royalties. So I wound up, losing out on close to $100,000 because of the lawsuit, and because I had the majority of whatever else Sting wasn't, whatever was left on the table after Sting took the majority of everything. And so I short story shorter, I was short close to 100,000. Never said nothing. Never talked about it. I'm thinking like, okay, well, this is the business. Then it's all a part of it. Still young in the game, don't know better. So I ate that. Never said a word. Fast forward to currently where we are today, and why I actually dropped the record was because I found out that there was a ban on me from speaking on his platforms. My thing is this: if I did something to you to offend you, I didn't recognize it, and let me clear that up so there's no misnomers,
right?
And he just wasn't really receptive to clearing the air. And when you ban somebody or blackball somebody that people like to say like that's a cancer that spreads,
right?
Because now when B finds out A doesn't deal with you, B's not going to deal with you, and when C finds out B and A's not dealing with you, they don't want to deal with you, and that spreads. And
right.
It's not just
you become
music.
a series of events.
You have corporations that's involved in this situation. So now you're interfering with how I put food on the table for my family.
Right.
That I can't stand for.
Right.
So yeah, you shorted me some money, but I overlooked that for a very long time. It's been 20 years?
Yeah.
I never said a word. But this, where I can't overlook that. Enough is enough already. Enough is enough. I don't know any man that would allow another man to implement or interfere with the way he feeds his family. I don't know one.
Right.
So it's almost like you have a girlfriend that cheats on you, but you don't know she cheats. So you can't do nothing about it because you don't know.
Right.
But I can't know you're cheating on me and don't do nothing about it. I can't do that.
Right.
So this is not something that I'm guessing. This is not something that I'm hearing. This ban is for real. This is what I know.
Wow.
And you're not willing to explain that. I can't understand that. So then, you're not willing to sit down and listen, I'm not above resolution. We're older. As men, we want to do things the right way. But I'm absolutely not above conflict either.
Right.
So it's up to you what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to do things the right way. But you can't, just because of your status or whoever you may think you are, you can't treat people like that. Some people aren't wired to go for that. And I'm not wired for you to do that to me.
Right.
Which is why I delivered Love Tap, and that's just what it is. It was light. It was a dope record, but it was light. Because I'm not going to stop. What comes after that is all disrespectful, and it's going to get increasingly disrespectful. I could promise him that.
Right.
So this is, now, this record is okay,
Right, you just give him a warning shot almost.
And this is the only one he gets.
Right.
This is the only jab he's going to get. Everything else is power shots.
Right.
So, You know, it's not. You know, like I said, I wanted to be very clear. This is not about money. This is about him implementing a ban or a gag order to prevent me from speaking on platforms where I know I haven't done anything to him.
Right, and
so he's not willing. Yeah.
And from a standpoint, like from a fan standpoint, you know, like I've been following you, I don't know how long, man. You know, like as far as your career and all that.
Right.
You know, and one of the things that I like, you know, on a level, like I wanted to know, you know, what happened, why you didn't come out, because, you know, you was one of those guys, man, that everybody was paying attention to. You know what I mean? And
Right.
the level that you were on, you know what I mean? Like, I was trying to figure out, you know, what's going on with him, what's going on with Sauce Money.
I mean, you got you know, like just out the gate, you know, before I even dropped the album, I was 2 Grammys in.
Right.
Before I even dropped the album, and you know, I mean, you know, one day that story will come out too.
Okay.
What I want to deal with is what's in front of me.
100%.
I don't want to deviate from my focus. My focus is dealing with this situation with Puff, and I didn't have a problem with Puff. I really still don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's not a big thing. It's just a thing. Like, it's something that we're gonna have to get past. Like, but I can't allow you to interfere with how I live my life, knowing that you're doing that. I can't do that.
So what you think? Why do you think he's doing that? Why do you think he's putting out these?
You know, I don't know. You know, I haven't spoken to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I don't know. You know, I spoke with Jay, and he assured me that he didn't know anything about it. You know, and I don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
So, you know, but until that mystery is solved, I'm gonna be aggressive.
Right. Rightfully so, man. Rightfully so. Like, to have that level of credibility, like for what you've done, you have every right to have a sit down with him. Like, I don't understand why he wouldn't have a sit down with him. Like, just as men, on the men, not even on no business shit. Just as a man, like, yo, you have something to, like, what's up?
Right. Yeah. You know, and sometimes, you know, people don't want clarity. People like to operate in confusion. You know, and like I said, you look at his track record, you know, he's almost like the modern day drug game. Like, anybody that deals with him is either dead or in jail.
Damn, yeah.
You know, I really don't want to fall in that category, but at the same time, like, I have to stand up for myself. Like, I've witnessed some things that he's done, and I've made a promise to myself that, like, yo, let me give you a quick story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is when we were actually in the process of looking for the record for my album.
Mm-hmm.
We was in the record plant in California. I'll never forget this, and we were in the studio. I remember him getting his hair cut, sitting in the chair getting his hair cut, and he called his assistant. I think his assistant name was Ron or something like that. Nice guy too. And he said, "Yo, find me the stack of beats with Prestige, the Prestige stack of beats." So, you know, the guy leaves out, comes back with a stack of CDs. This is, you know, and probably it was the wrong stack. So I'll never forget this, as he's going through the CDs, and he's like, "No, this is not it." And he's throwing them on the floor, like,
damn,
for this guy to pick up. They had the cases. The cases will break open. The CDs will be rolling around, and there's about 10 CDs.
Right.
He's throwing all of these CDs on the floor for this guy to pick up, man. And I'm just saying to myself, like, this ain't how this shit is supposed to be, man.
Nah, that ain't cool at all.
You don't do people like that. You don't humiliate people like that. Like, what gives you the right to do that?
Right.
You know, I don't care how much money or fame or popularity or none of that shit. Like, you don't do that to people. That's just not right. So I made a promise then that if he ever crossed the line with me, man, I was gonna try to overdo it with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So, and it's unfortunate that we've reached that point. Like I said, because we've created this legacy, me and him. We created this great history.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to soil it because, you know, because of his arrogance. And so it's unfortunate, man. I'm not proud of this moment, but I'm going to move forward with it.
Right.
And, you know, whatever the results are, the results are.
Rightfully so. Understandable, man, because as a man, you can't let nobody stop you eating, man, for you and your fam.
Yeah. My thing is, don't hide your hands. If you're doing it, let's let the world know.
Right.
If you're doing it. So you screaming black excellence and brother love and all of this kind of shit, you can't fool me. You know, you play the game for perception. I get it. I play the game for real.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I am what I say I am. I don't pretend to be something for the camera. I don't care about that. Especially when it comes to people. I treat people how I would want to be treated. And throwing CDs on the floor for somebody to run after and pick up and humiliate, that ain't never been that's not on my jacket.
Yeah, it serves no purpose except for the ego.
Right. You know, you fucking with people because you think you can. I'm not that. I'm going to show you that I'm definitely not that.
Right. So if Puff wanted to do a sit down right now and just kind of like, I guess, clear the air and figure out where you go, would you be willing to make that happen?
As a man, I'm not above resolution. You know, I initiated that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it to go this route. You know, so no, I'm not above resolution, but I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to wait for you to decide if you want resolution.
Right.
I'm going to do what I do. And like I said, it's going to fall how it fall. You know, but, you know, I believe I stand on the side of right. You know, and that's just what it is, you know.
Right. 100%, man. 100%. So are you working with a certain time limit for him to respond, or are you going, you know, if he don't respond, you know, to this record, what's the next steps?
I'm stockpiled, man. Like
locked and loaded, huh?
You know, because the reality of it is I've been sitting on this information for a couple of months. I want to say about 5-6 months. You know, so in between trying to find resolution, I'm very creative when I get upset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the reason why it took me so long to push the button on it is, you know, I just wanted to make sure I was just in control of my emotions. You know, so now it's not even an emotional thing. I'm not even angry. It's just something that it has to be done. You know, because initially anybody will find out that, you know, you're being blackballed, quote unquote, or, you know, you're angry.
Right.
You know, so, you know, I can't, you know, now that I let some time go by, I'm not operating on emotions. It's just, you know, I can't, you know, shit, whatever you're doing to me, you're doing it anyway. So I might as well, you know.
You might as well press that button.
I might as well. I'm not going to ball up and let you just fuck me up. I might as well try to get some hits off too.
Right. Now, did you have any inclination that he was doing this before you found out?
You know, a lot of things over my career just didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would have to think that it just didn't start with this. You know, I would think that this situation has been in play for a while. This has been in play for a very long time. And so I don't think that this one particular situation was the beginning of it.
Right.
You know, like, game is tricky, man. Like, you know, people that say they love you really hate you, and the people that hate you really love you.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So this game is tricky, but I'll save that conversation for another day.
Right. Right.
I'll save that but to answer your question, I think this situation has been in play for some years.
Yeah. And now
you know, and usually, I'm sorry not to cut you off.
You good.
When something like this is being done to you, you never really find out who, and you never really find out why. It just happens to you, and you can't understand, man, why is this situation not working out? Why is this door closing, and why I can't get this person on the phone? And you never understand it never comes to you like that. Mm-hmm. You know, when people make those type of calls on you, the shit just happens to you. Right. I was fortunate enough to find out who made that call I don't know why he did it, but I do know who it is, and that's all I need.
Right, right. Man, that's just crazy, man, because I can't, I can't fathom why he'll do that, being as though you're one of the reasons he is who he is at the level he's at. Not saying that he didn't have that, like you said before. I personally can't understand why he'll do that, man. If anything, you can be an asset to the situation. So why not try to level that? You know what I mean?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. I can't fathom that.
Why would he? It makes no sense, to be honest with you.
Right.
But
but that's the game.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It do,
Conversation for another day.
Yeah. So what's the next steps as far as career wise? Are you looking to come out with any more projects anytime soon, or because I know at one point you were contemplating just like putting it all down.
Right. But you know what? Sometimes you get motivations from different things, and this is actually has lit a fire. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually gonna do one more project. Okay.
All right, we get another one.
Nah, yeah, we get one on the way out. Yeah, it's called In Memory Of, which is a dedication to my father who passed, 6 years ago. And, it was an actual conversation that me and him had, that he wanted me to attack it again. And, just the timing needed to be right, the motivation needed to be right. And so now it's the right time for me. This is my perfect way to say goodbye to the game. And so hopefully by May or no later than July or August, the project will be done, and, I'll give it to the world.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait for it personally. I can't wait for it, man. It was recently a young boy with the same that tried to take your name, man. I saw it on what was it? I think it was World Star or something like that. It was somebody with your name, man. I was like, hold on, this ain't the Sauce Money I know.
Yeah, I think he's from Detroit or something.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on, what's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, you picked the right name to take.
Yeah. I mean, I feel him on that, but in the same token, man, you got it's homage out here, and people got to do their homework, man. I don't think these young boys doing their homework, man.
Well, it's a different time,
Yeah.
It's almost like we living in a dope fiend's stomach. Everything is on the inside out.
Right.
Everything is it's like an inverse universe right now. Because, and what I mean by that is you got people that are stars before they even put the work in.
Yeah.
Like being a star now is just, it's not, it doesn't even equate to the hit records. It's just being popular on social media. You're a star. There's no credibility, so you don't have a resume. You're just popular.
Right. Which is crazy to me, man, because, talent is supposed to speak for you. And these a lot of these cats, man, it's great to have a personality, because that's what sells. That's what sells these days. Is like, personality more so than the talent. But in the same token, it has to be a balance of some sort. And these days, I don't see it, man. I'm trying to, I get it because I've seen the transition, but I still, you can understand something and not respect it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You tolerate it because it has to exist.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because the actual artists are, the executives and the actual artists suffer the most because everybody else wants to be the stars now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the executives want to be stars more than the artists.
Right.
So it's not even really about the artists anymore.
Right.
I remember, when I was introduced to the game, to see a rapper in the street meant something.
Right, 100%.
Now you see niggas now, that's all. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just not. And you know what? And I'm pretty sure that our forefathers that came before us, Ray Charles and Quincy Jones, when they went over to Paris and London and other countries and see how the people really embraced them.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to here, like people don't even care here.
Right.
It's almost like, Jesus, like they hate you where you're from, but the whole world loves you.
Right. And that's one thing I will respect about the culture out here, man. Out here, they love hip hop, bro. Like hip hop in its purest form, man. Like they like all the commercial stuff. That's the stuff that people go in the club to and all that stuff. They dance to and all that. But as far as the culture out here, they respect the culture of hip hop more so than what I see in America, bro. Like, and it's when I first came out here, I couldn't understand how people know about Big L and how people know about just rappers who I like admire as real rappers. You know what I mean? That could really get up there and spit. And they recognize it out here. And then I talk to somebody from the States and they're like, who? And I'm like, what?
Right. Just let me case in point. I saw an interview with Lil Yachty on Hot 97.
Yeah.
And he didn't even know who Biggie Smalls was.
That's crazy,
I couldn't wrap my head around that shit.
I can believe it, man. Cause I can believe it, man.
That's like you playing basketball and you don't know who Michael Jordan is.
Right.
How do you not know?
Right. I had one kid tell me, and no disrespect to Soulja Boy, but one kid told me that Soulja Boy was the best rapper ever.
Yeah.
And
I could believe it.
And I had to take a step back. And I'm not one of them bitter people. Like, I jam to some of the new shit. Like I rock to some of the new shit. I ain't, you know what I mean? I'm not one of those guys that was like, the best rap was even though I believe the best rap was, late 90s, early 2000s for me personally. You know what I mean? That's my golden era. But I just can't fathom the thought that Soulja Boy to that young man was the best rapper ever.
But in all fairness, if you think about it, to try to make it make sense, because that doesn't make sense, right? But here's how you try to make it make sense. Soulja Boy pretty much really was the forefather of the internet explosion. Right.
That's true.
So, when he came out with that Superman shit, that was when the internet was starting to become the way to go. So the timing of it would allow me to understand why somebody would say that.
Yeah, and to be fair, he was probably about maybe 15 at the time too.
Right.
You know what I mean? This was like 6-7 years ago. So, but I just couldn't even, even the thought process of it, man. So I had to expose him. And play him some. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some what I classify as real music, man, or real rap.
And it's going back to that.
Yeah. You got some cats.
Back to that.
You got some cats that can really get it in. You know what I mean? But everything comes in waves, and it's always going to be, lyrics versus fun. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and that's how it's always been. But then you add this little trap element into it now, and it's good for the culture because it's expanding. It's good for the culture,
right?
But
I believe in good music. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Like if it sounds good and it feels good, it's good music.
Right.
You know, I don't look at it like, oh, if it's not trap music, it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not good or I don't care if they do trap, but if it's good trap music, it's just good music. If it's good hip hop music, it's good music. If it's good pop music, it's just good music. And that's how I look at it. You know, it's just good music. You know, some artists make good records, and that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, you got to respect that. You got to respect that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
You know, and I guess the hip hop purist in me won't allow that to kind of. It makes sense, you know, theoretically, but the hip hop purists in me don't want to hear that shit. Like I want to hear that. I want to hear them lyrics. You know what I mean?
Right. Nah, absolutely. But then you got to ask yourself, right? Do you want to be a dope spitter, or do you want to make good records?
Right. And that's the longevity.
Do you want to be Coogee Rap, who's probably arguably the greatest spitter ever, just lyrically at his peak?
Yeah.
But you want to be Drake, who makes records for the world that can't miss with a hit.
Right.
Like everything he drops, he can't miss.
Right. But I had this. I had an argument with not an argument, but a little disagreement with DJ Clark Kent not too long ago in December, actually. So we was he came over here for Soul DXB, which is something dope, man. Something that I think everybody should experience. Soul DXB, man, is one of the best events I've been to in my life, hands down. And it's basically like a sneaker fest, but the sneaker fest involves like so much of hip hop culture that hip hop culture is just displayed on this grandest level in Dubai fashion at this event because it's like Dubai is Dubai, man. So you get the hip hop displayed on this level that you can't even imagine. You know what I mean? But anyway, I was rapping with DJ Clark Kent, man, and it was that similar thing. So I personally think, and we were talking about Philly rap, we were talking about Philly rappers or whatever, and we were talking about Meek Mill and Black Thought since they both dropped the album last year. Now I think Black Thought is a great lyricist, and Black Thought is dope. I mean, he made it commercial to an extent with the whole Jimmy Fallon stuff and all that, but I think Meek Mill has had more of an impact on the culture right now because of what he's delivering. And it's like we had to, he went for Black Thought and I went for Meek Mill just based on the culture.
Right. Well, I think, first of all, me personally, I think Black Thought is incredible.
Right.
He's always been one of my favorites. You know, we were actually signed to the same label, MCA.
Yeah.
At the same time, Wendy Goldstein and all that. And I think he's incredible. But just from an impact standpoint of moving the needle with the culture, I would have to say Meek Mill has a little more impact on the culture than Black Thought. I think Black Thought obviously is one of the greats as far as lyricism.
Right.
You know, and Clark Kent is my brother. Clark is actual mentor of mine.
Yeah.
Clark produced all our early Jay-Z records and Source Money records. He probably got a vault of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, that's the question. Like, lyricism is great, yeah, but you want records that move the needle.
Right.
You want to drop that single that circle the bases. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You want to hit a home run with that single.
100%, man.
So yeah.
And that's kind of what I was, hitting at. Like no disrespect to Black Thought at all. Like I said, I'm from Philly. Like Black Thought is and Meek from Philly too. But he's one of the guys that put Philadelphia on the map for having good spitters. Like if it wasn't for Black Thought, I mean, we would have had Will Smith, and it would have, you know what I mean? People would have looked at Philly like that.
Right.
Black Thought kind of changed that whole perception, along with, like, you know, you had the Schoolie D's and all that good stuff, man. And then one of my mentors is Biz Porter, who was, you know, really, he was the first rapper signed to Motown, and then, you know, he had the whole Plush Brothers. I mean, you know the Batcave story. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Philadelphia, like, history, but he had the whole Batcave movement, which every rapper from Philly pretty much came up under. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one of my, you know, one of my aces, man. I talk to him damn every day.
Okay.
Yeah, but so we just had those conversations, man. Where it's just like, you know, we would have been stuck at Will Smith if Black Thought didn't exist. So I'm not disrespecting him at all, but I just like, yo, Meek Mill just took it, especially the new Meek Mill, the post jail Meek Mill. He took things to a height where you have to understand the impact that he has made. You know what I mean? And still making right now. Like even with, and this is where the whole off the microphone personality comes in at too, because then you have to see what he's doing with the Robert Krafts and all these things with jail reform and all that. Like, these are big deals. These are things that affect our community. Like, you know, that has been affecting our community for decades, you know, generations.
I have a theory about that, about the whole the jail reform thing.
Yeah.
You know, Robert Kraft just got into some trouble down in Florida with the prostitution thing and all of that. But I think that was a slap on the wrist for him. Mm-hmm. I think that the powers that be gave him a quick reminder, like, you jumping around with these niggas with this jail reform shit.
Oh, yeah.
Jail shit is big bread for us, Robert Kraft.
Right.
Now you dancing around with Cardi B and you wearing Meek Mill chain and you doing all this nigga shit. Let me remind you, you know, if you get out of pocket,
we got you.
We can touch you too now.
Dang, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like that. See, I don't look at what happens to people. I look at the time that it happens. It's the timing of it.
Right.
You dancing around with these black folk, and you know, because, you know, unfortunately, people still have the good old boy mentality and all of that. Prison is a big business for white people.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Now, you talking about prison
reform,
and
guns,
like,
man.
Then you start fucking with the money. Now, when you fuck with the money, you're expendable. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you got $1 billion, but don't let that $1 billion fool you.
Yeah.
You can't do whatever you want.
Right.
So, with us. So, here, let me spank you right quick. Take this little embarrassment with this prostitution thing.
Right.
That'll hold you. Give you something to think about the next time you want to start dancing with Cardi B and wear Meek Mill chains and all of that shit.
Yeah, and since that happened, you know what? He ain't been in the news. He been on the low.
You feel me?
Yep.
You feel me?
Yep. That's crazy. I ain't even think about it like that, man.
Don't play with it.
I read this book probably about a good couple months ago. It's called Confessions. It's called Trust Me, I'm Lying: Confessions of a Media Manipulator, and it talked about just that, man. It talked about exactly what you just said, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how it, even though he got the, you know, he could have paid that off to not have anybody know about that shit, but the media controls all of it, man, and they got them in pocket. Everybody who own the prisons own part of that media shit too.
That's right. And that's why you have certain individuals like, you know, the Puffs trying to own all the podcasts. Mm-hmm. They trying to control the content.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they control the content, they can control what's being said about them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because, you know, with this situation, you know, take Puff, for example. You talking about living your best life in black excellence and all that. Yeah, that's great. But look at the path of destruction that you've left to get here.
Yeah.
Look at all the destruction you've caused on your way to get here.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So miss me with that, homie. You put that shit is just that's just for the people. You fronting.
Yeah.
You fronting.
He ain't really living it.
Nah. That's just you putting on a happy face for the people. You want people to believe that you're this guy, and my nigga. Because look at the waste that you've left.
Right.
So why do you get to enjoy the fruits of all of that shit and everybody else suffers, man? Why do you get to enjoy that?
Right.
Why do you get to enjoy your life off the sweat and misery and the bad luck that you bring to people? Why do you get to enjoy life like that, man?
Right. Right. Now, how do you think that Puff's reaction is going to be to the record? Like, how do you think when if and when he hears the record, how do you think his reaction is?
I don't even care how he feels when he hears it. All I know is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's gonna do or how he's gonna feel, but all I know is what I'm doing moving forward. Only because I tried to do things the right way. Right. So it don't matter now. I'm out the house.
You're off the porch, man. You're off the porch.
I'm off the porch, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. And rightfully so, man. Like at the end of the day, you tried to do the gentleman thing, and the gentleman thing didn't work. And so naturally, as a man, in order to provide for your family, in order to make, and to do what you got to do, you gotta you got to do what you got to do.
And it's just as simple as that.
Right.
You gotta do what you gotta do. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've created this legacy, and it's a shame that it has to go down this road because of arrogance and just I just can't understand the level of, I don't know if it's just narcissistic or you know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. Like when you reach a position like that and you're up there, like it's all about service. It's all about helping people. It's not about you just more and self-adoration. Like, nah, it's about helping people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, giving back. It's not about take.
Right. You got enough. You got enough to give back.
You got enough. Like, how much is enough? See, but with people like that, all they know is more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, one thing I could say, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that, some people may eat better than me as far as financial, but I could guarantee you I sleep better than most of them.
That's deep. That's deep, bro. Like, and that's real shit. That's deep, though.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, your soul is an important thing, man. Your soul is an important thing. And now, I'm not going to get into, like, the Illuminati and all that, you know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Sometimes the writing is on the wall with what happens with people. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And so I respect that 1,000% what you just said, man.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Like, at the end of the day, right? Because this time on Earth is just a blip on the screen in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
And I got some loved ones, man, that I hope to see again one day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be on the wrong side of the fence when I see them.
Right. Right.
So I try to live my life the right way. I try to be fair. Nobody's perfect, obviously, but, I don't go out my way to do anything to people to try to cause them harm or discomfort or put them in bad situations or, that's just not how I live my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's done to me, I don't know how to, I can't understand it.
Right.
And all I know how to do is fight.
Right.
And I don't care who it is.
Yeah, we see.
And it may be some people at the end of the day, some people that I genuinely love, man. that may wind up on the wrong side of the fence on this one.
Yeah.
And it's just that's just a sad thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't understand it. I can't understand it, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, we've built this legacy and we've come together, and we eulogized big, and it did all of this wonderful. I mean, it was a world record.
Right.
And why wouldn't you want to iron out any differences we got? Or any misunderstandings.
Right.
Why would you want to just leave it up in the air like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why would you want to leave the door open for me to do this?
Right.
But,
like, and that's what I said before, man. Anything, if anything, he should be thinking of you as an asset, more than anything else. You know what I mean? Like, if this person can provide this level, if this person can help me achieve this accomplishment, why not continue to work with that person as opposed to put that person? Me personally, I just don't understand that.
You got to ask yourself, why doesn't he think that? What would stop him from thinking that? Because it would just make sense in the natural scheme of things, like with the success that we've had.
Right.
Why wouldn't you look at me like that? What would prevent you from looking at me like that?
Right. Unless you're scared, man.
Think about it. I'm asking you a question, but I'm giving you an answer.
Right. And I get it, 100%, man. You know what I mean? That spot. That spot, man. Sometimes scared people don't want to. People are scared that you may take their spot.
And I don't know why, man, because, certain people should know that, that I always knew that this was their thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was established earlier. We knew it was their thing, but don't go out your way to harm me, man.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't break my heart like that, man.
Yeah.
But time reveals all, man. God allowed me to see that fell in my lap, and there was another name on that list that I won't divulge, but
yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, but I know, that
very, very interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, about the, Hove. And
we can talk about Hove,
Huh?
I mean, we can talk about Jay. Jay is, somebody that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
We created the great history as well.
Right.
I don't know what side of the fence he's going to land on this situation because it seems that they're very close.
Right.
I see them in the pictures and all of that. And, like I said, I spoke to him personally about this situation, and he said he didn't know anything about it. But there wasn't any resolution, or he didn't try to put people together to try to bring resolution. So that was very uncomfortable for me.
Right.
Not that I'm asking you to fight my battles, because I'm not that. I don't need you to do that. But as a friend, I would think that if you're close to somebody that I may have an issue with, as a friend, the natural thing would be, let me see what's going on with you, homie, and let's try to put that out.
Right.
But that didn't happen, so here we are.
And it would seem that it would seem that you and Hove, y'all pretty cool. You know what I mean? Y'all was pretty tight.
We have a unique relationship. We family, but our relationship is very unique.
Yeah.
Sometimes hard to explain, but
yeah.
I love him, and I always want to see him prosper and keep creating history. I genuinely want that for him. And sometimes, things just don't make sense to me. But at the end of the day, it will.
Right.
At the end of the day, it will.
Right.
You know.
So when was the last time you talked to Hov?
Well, the last conversation we had was a couple of months ago about this situation.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't a great conversation. And that's the last time we spoke.
Gotcha.
You know, because like I said, it's hard for me to believe that you don't know about it, but you being so close to this guy.
Right, and especially being in that bracket that they fall in.
Of course. How do you not know what's going on? Right. And I could tell you some stories, but I'll save that for another time.
Right.
So, I asked him, he said he didn't know, and I left it at that. There wasn't any kind of follow-up to bring any type of resolution. So then here I am. Like I said, I don't need him to fight my battles. I'm going to do what I do.
Right.
I love him. I wish things were different, but they're not in this particular case. Doesn't take away from how I feel about him.
Right.
But I just think that, he's going to be on the wrong side of the fence on this one.
Right.
That's going to create an interesting dilemma for me.
Yeah.
It's really not nothing that I'm looking forward to be honest with you.
Right. And me personally, man, I just know all the great records that you guys had that was public. I'm sure you guys got some stuff in the stash too that I would love to hear one day, but who knows if that's going to happen. But being as though that's how the relationship, you know what I mean? You and Jay relationship was one of the reasons how a lot of people, just by being on, some of the albums or whatever, how a lot of people know you on the masses. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
right.
Because, you're more behind the scenes with Puff. And then with Jay, it was more you were on it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we grew up together.
Yeah.
We go back. This is not no industry relationship.
Yeah.
This is, you eating up my crib, I'm eating up your crib, you hug my mother, I hug your mother, you know my family, I know your family. I used to steal my father's car to take him to meet the tour bus so he could go out with Kane. Like, we go back.
Yeah.
Like, this is not no industry shit, which is why it's hard for me to really process some of the things that transpire between us, but that I never really talk about. It's just, sometimes you just shake your head and be like, all right.
Yeah.
Like I said, at the end of the day, man, like, I love him. I wish him the best. I want him to I want him to continue to make history and do what he's doing. I'm happy for his success. And, that's just what it is. What I'm doing now is just what I'm doing.
Right.
I just hope that, what I'm doing is what I'm doing.